What if the right question could break your chains? What if, instead of seeking more, you asked less, and found yourself? We often believe that life changes when we get answers. But the Stoics knew, answers are dead things. It's the questions that live inside you, move you, haunt you in the silence of your most honest moments. And sometimes, just sometimes, they save you. So here are not 10 affirmations, not 10 rules, not 10 beliefs. But 10 questions. 10 blades to cut through the fog. 10 truths disguised as doubts. 10 moments of clarity you can return to every time life pulls you under. Let's begin with the first. Am I using my time, or am I being used by it? Seneca wrote, "While we wait for life, life passes." We act as though time is this endless field stretching out before us. But time is not a promise. It's not even ours. It's a gift we squander daily, scrolling, worrying, postponing, living halfway. Look around you. How much of your day is truly yours? How much do you give away to obligations you never questioned? To people you don't even like? To fears that live rent-free in your mind? The Stoic doesn't ask, "Do I have enough time?" They ask, "Am I present in the time I have?" It's not about how long you live. It's about how deeply. How awake. Every moment is slipping through your fingers like water. You can't stop it. But you can choose whether it nourishes you, or drowns you. Second question. What if everything I'm chasing won't matter when I die? Let that question burn. What if the house, the recognition, the titles, what if none of it will hold meaning when your hands turn cold? Marcus Aurelius asked himself this every day. Death wasn't a shadow to him, it was a compass. You're going to die. And if that sentence makes you uncomfortable, good. That means there's something in your life that's unaligned. Something fake. Something you're feeding that doesn't feed you back. Are you willing to sacrifice your soul for applause? We say, legacy, but often we mean ego. We say, building a future, but often we mean running from the present. Seneca said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." So ask yourself again, what if all of it, every pursuit you take so seriously, will one day dissolve into silence? Then what should you pursue instead? Third question. Do I live according to my nature, or to someone else's expectations? The Stoics believed we each have a unique nature. A role. Not assigned by society, not dictated by others, but etched deep into our being. Like a spark waiting to catch fire. But we cover it up. With shoulds. With comparison. With roles we play to be accepted. We smile when we want to scream. We follow paths that deaden us. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." It sounds simple. It's not. Because to live according to your nature, you must disappoint others. You must choose discomfort over approval. You must risk being alone. But what is the cost of betraying yourself to please the world? It's too high. Ask yourself, if no one judged me, what would I still do? What kind of life would still feel true? Fourth question. What am I afraid of losing, and what has that fear already cost me? Most of us aren't free. We are trapped. Not in cages, but in fear. Fear of loss. Fear of rejection. Fear of failure. And we spend our lives building walls to protect ourselves from those fears, walls that become prisons. Seneca wrote, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." You're afraid of losing your job, so you never speak your mind. You're afraid of losing love, so you tolerate disrespect. You're afraid of losing status, so you hide your truth. But in each case, the fear is already robbing you. It's already taken your voice, your dignity, your peace. So face it. Name it. And ask, what would I do if I stopped trying to protect what I might lose? What might I gain instead? Fifth question. Who owns my attention, and do I want them to? The greatest theft in your life is not money. It's not even time. It's your attention. Every day, it is hijacked. By noise, by ads, by other people's drama, by notifications that pulse like veins outside your will. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. But how much of your mind truly belongs to you? You check your phone before you check in with yourself. You scroll through opinions before you feel your own thoughts. You absorb the world's chaos before you've even breathed in silence. You think you're distracted. But you're not. You're being distracted. On purpose. Because the more scattered you are, the easier you are to control. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind? Who profits from your agitation? And most importantly, what could grow in the stillness you've forgotten? Sixth question. Do I need this, or am I just used to it? This applies to almost everything. The clutter in your home, the routines that bore you, the people who drain you, the habits that numb you. Comfort is seductive, but it's also a trap. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. Cold baths. Cheap meals. Simple clothes. Not because they hated pleasure, but because they hated dependence. Seneca said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, and ask yourself, is this the condition I feared?" You think you need your job, your apartment, your daily coffee ritual. But what if that's just a story you've repeated so often, it became a cage? You won't feel free until you taste what it's like to survive with less, and realize you are still whole. Seventh question. What is in my control, right now? The Stoics drew a clean line between what depends on us and what doesn't. Your actions, yours. Your thoughts, yours. Your choices, yours. Everything else? Not yours. You don't control traffic. You don't control the stock market. You don't control your partner's mood. You don't even control how long you'll live. But you do control how you show up. How you respond. What meaning you assign. Most of our suffering comes from fighting what we cannot change, and abandoning what we can. Next time anxiety grips your chest, ask, is this mine to carry? Or am I trying to own something that was never in my hands? When life feels overwhelming, this one question can bring you back. To your breath. To your power. To peace. Eighth question. What story am I telling myself, and is it true? You are not your past. You are not your scars. You are not even your thoughts. But you are the stories you repeat in your mind. The Stoics knew that perception is everything. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, it's the interpretation, not the event. You didn't get rejected, you were redirected. You didn't fail, you learned. You're not behind, you're being refined. But your mind loves drama. It loves to say, I always mess things up. No one respects me. I'm just not strong enough. And these words become the walls of your life. So pause and ask, what if the story isn't true? What if I've outgrown it, but I keep living inside it? You don't need to change your life all at once. Sometimes, you just need to rewrite one sentence. Start there. Ninth question. What if pain isn't my enemy, but my teacher? We are taught to run from pain. To silence it. To label it as failure, weakness, injustice. But the Stoics knew better. Pain is not your punishment. It is your mirror. Epictetus lived most of his life as a crippled slave. He knew agony. And yet, he said, difficulties show men what they are. That means, suffering doesn't distort your character, it reveals it. We avoid discomfort. But what if that discomfort was pointing to the very thing that needs healing? You hate that you feel lonely, but maybe that loneliness is reminding you to reconnect with yourself. You resent your struggle, but maybe that struggle is building a patience you've never known. You flinch at rejection, but maybe rejection is redirecting you toward alignment. Don't rush to numb it. Don't bury it beneath noise or pleasure. Ask, why is this pain here? What is it trying to show me? What would happen if I stopped resisting, and listened? Pain, like a stern mentor, has one goal, to make you better. Stronger. Clearer. More free. 10th question. What would my life look like if I lived it on purpose? Not reacting. Not running. Not surviving. But choosing. Deliberately. Daily. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being. He didn't say, a king. He said, a human. As in, a being made to act, to serve, to contribute, to walk through the day with integrity. But how many of us drift? We go to work without knowing why. We stay in relationships out of fear. We live each week for a weekend that passes in hours. That is not life. That is sleepwalking. The Stoic is not perfect. But they are awake. They ask themselves, each morning, what kind of day will I create? What values will I live by? What will I not compromise, no matter what? Living on purpose doesn't mean having all the answers. It means no longer hiding from the questions. So here they are again. 10 questions. 10 keys. 10 quiet revolutions. Am I using my time, or being used by it? What if everything I'm chasing won't matter when I die? Do I live according to my nature, or to someone else's expectations? What am I afraid of losing, and what has that fear already cost me? Who owns my attention, and do I want them to? Do I need this, or am I just used to it? What is in my control, right now? What story am I telling myself, and is it true? What if pain isn't my enemy, but my teacher? What would my life look like if I lived it on purpose? Let them echo inside you. Let them irritate you. Let them move you to tears. That's what good questions do. They crack the surface and bring the soul to light. And here's the secret the Stoics knew: these questions aren't one-time insights. They're practices. Meditations. You return to them every morning, every night, like sharpening a blade before stepping into battle. Because life is a battle. Not against others, but against forgetfulness. Against passivity. Against the drift. You don't need another guru. You don't need another 5-step plan. You need silence, courage, and the honesty to ask what really matters. These 10 questions? They're not just thoughts. They're choices. And if you live them fully, they will change everything. Starting now. You're not the same person you were when this began. Because once a real question lodges itself in your soul, it stays. It works in silence. It stirs when you're not looking. And sometimes, without warning, it breaks through the surface like light in a dark room. Maybe you're beginning to feel it now. A tension inside you, a quiet rebellion against the way you've been living. A pull toward something more truthful. More grounded. More, yours. The Stoics didn't offer salvation. They didn't promise happiness. They promised clarity, and through it, strength. Dignity. Freedom. And that freedom doesn't come from fixing the world. It comes from fixing your relationship with it. That's the core of Stoicism, not to escape life, but to enter it fully. To live, not as a slave to emotion or fate, but as a craftsman of your soul. To shape your inner world so that no outer force can ever ruin you. So what now? You've heard the questions. You've reflected. Something has moved. But that movement must become motion. It must become habit. Ritual. Philosophy without practice is like a sword left in its sheath. It looks noble, but it can't defend you when the fight begins. And life will fight you. It will test your patience with chaos. It will tempt your ego with success. It will shake your serenity with grief. It will try to steal your time, your attention, your will. So take these questions and live them. Not all at once. Not perfectly. Just one at a time. Pick one. Carry it through the day like a stone in your pocket. Touch it when you feel lost. Ask it when you feel nothing. Let it wake you up. Ask, am I being used by time, when you find yourself procrastinating? Ask, do I need this, when you're about to say yes out of guilt? Ask, what is in my control right now, when you're spinning from panic? You will fail. You will forget. You will fall back into old habits. That's okay. You're not here to be a sage. You're here to be a human, with a backbone, not a shell. With direction, not perfection. The Stoics never claimed to be gods. They were emperors, slaves, soldiers, exiles. They bled. They feared. They lost children and lovers and countries. But they returned. Always, they returned. To reason. To what depends on them. To their inner citadel, that part of the soul that no fire can scorch, no enemy can storm, no grief can collapse. And you have that part too. You've just forgotten how to enter it. You enter it through questions. Through reflection. Through hard, honest thinking in a world of noise. You enter it when you stop blaming the world for being the world and start asking yourself, who am I becoming? Because the only thing you truly own, the only empire that will not fall, is your character. And that's the one thing most people never build. They build careers. They build social media accounts. They build their bodies, their image, their wealth. But when the lights go out, when the applause fades, when they're left alone with themselves, they find ruins. Don't let that be you. If you are to build anything, let it be strength of will, clarity of thought, gentleness in judgment, courage under pressure. Let your life become a structure carved by wisdom, not impulse. Ask yourself, can I look at my pain without running? Can I live one day as if it were my last, not in desperation, but with full presence? Can I choose stillness over outrage? Can I say no to what insults my soul, even when it's easier to say yes? Can I meet my death, be it tomorrow or 50 years from now, knowing that I lived not perfectly, but deliberately? That is the Stoic life. Not cold, not rigid, but awake. Full of light and discipline and fierce compassion for the human condition. A Stoic doesn't aim to be above the world. They aim to be unshaken by it. Not passive, but peaceful. Not numb, but deeply engaged. And when they fall, they rise, not because it's easy, but because rising is who they are. You want to change your life? Then start where all change begins, not in events, not in luck, not in other people, but in questions. 10 of them. Etched into your morning. Echoing through your decisions. Whispered into your darkest nights. 10 questions that cut through distraction. That shatter illusion. That carry you home, to yourself. Not the self made of fear. Not the self dressed for performance. But the one you left behind, somewhere along the way, the self that is quiet, and steady, and made for truth. So breathe. And begin again. The questions are waiting.